Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Pigs on the Run, powered by PigWorks and P&G. I'm Betsy Ross, and our guest today is Mary Enzweiler. She is currently the course experience coordinator for PigWorks events, but she has worn many other pig hats throughout the years. Mary, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Betsy.
Good. You have had many jobs with the flying pig. Give me your pig resume over the years.
Sure. I've been with the pig really since the inaugural running. I was a volunteer at the finish line for the pig in 1999. In 2000, I actually ran the pig. That was the only year that I was able to really run the pig. So I did it. It was great. And then in 2001, the third year of the pig, I became an intern with the flying pig. And I was the volunteer coordinator. And since 2001, with that volunteer coordinator, I've been, with the pig office and with the pig staff since then. I've had some different jobs with them. So I was the volunteer coordinator for several years. Was actually on the board of directors for a while. And then I became the volunteer coordination is a huge job. And it kind of became overwhelming with trying to work another full-time job, another full-time profession. So I sort of backed away from the volunteer coordination job and became the course experience coordinator. And that's kind of where I am today with that. So 21 years of flying pig.
21 years and running, right?
That's it.
So the course experience coordinator, it really means that you're in charge of everything from the energy shot stations to some of the more clever stops that we see, the pork and beans, the twist and snout stations. So many questions I have about those stops. First of all, where do the names come? Because you've got both the flying pig and the queen bee that you have very clever names.
Well, yeah, we like to play on the puns of either flying or pig or queen, royalty or the bee. So some of them are pretty easy. The pork and beans, that was almost a given with our jelly bean station. And that was probably the first, what we call a fun station. They're all fun. Fluid stations are fun. And then the non-fluid stations, just for lack of a better name, we call them fun stations. So the jelly bean station was the first one, and that was the pork and beans. And then some of the names, I kind of took them from the big pig gig, if you remember when that was around, like the swine and cheese. So that one I kind of borrowed from them. It was a little cheese cracker station. And then a lot of them come from the product that we're distributing. And it's like, we're happy to have Procter & Gamble as a huge sponsor, and they have facial tissues called puffs. So if we go through the three little pigs, what was the big bad wolf doing? He was huffing and puffing. So the Huff and Puff station became one of our stations. Another one, just like the Vaseline station, grease pig. That was a pretty easy one. And then we used the puns. The Fig Newton station is the Pig Newton station. Twist and snout, as we say, they do the Twizzlers. Then there's another one that really doesn't even need a pun or a name. It's just the bacon station. You can't go wrong with bacon at mile 16. So that was one that had no name. It was just self-explanatory. We do the same for the queen bee. We use the royal tea station as an iced tea station. So it's kind of fun, and some of them just kind of come to you, with no thought, and others we kind of have to stretch it a little bit. But it's all good. It's all good.
And they're still funny.
Yeah.
Second of all, you have all these stations. That means that you need volunteers. So where do the volunteers come from? Are they usually the same groups year after year?
They are. The pig is, and the queen bee is it's a community event. And the spectators are great. The runners are awesome. They're back there year after year. And the volunteers, it's their way of participating in this community event. And yes, they do. They come back year after year. And as I say, we have, take for instance, the flying pig. We have these little fun stations and fluid stations. There's over 100 of them on the course. And we need anywhere from 20 to 80 volunteers at some of these stations. So you can, do the math and see how many volunteers we need. And luckily, and fortunately for everyone involved, these volunteers are so dedicated, and their enthusiasm is, remarkable for it. But they also take pride in it. And the volunteers just don't show up on race day and jump in a bus and we cart them out there. No, they come to meetings and they know what's expected of them. And they come and pick up all these tissues and cookies and, fluid station supplies. And, we trust them that they'll be where they're assigned, and they are. It's remarkable, and it's makes our job a lot easier that we have these great volunteers. And almost all of our volunteers are part of a nonprofit group, and they take pride in our event, in the community, and in their organization. So, it's a win-win situation for everyone involved, and it's great. I mean, when the Flying Pig founders came up with that, using nonprofit groups as volunteers, that was genius. And it has worked so well. We probably start January, so 5 months of planning and figuring out how many cookies to order and how much bacon to order. And the volunteer coordinator, again, quite a job of trying to find the right volunteers for their appropriate group, or appropriate stations. Because some of them, I can't say it needs a lot of skill, but a lot of times you just need to match an appropriate group with the right station. So that's usually completed, by March, early March, and that's when we start having our organizational meetings with the volunteer captains. And it helps. A lot of them are returnees. So, that learning curve is a lot shorter. So that makes it a lot easier when they're familiar with what their assignment is, where it is, and, what time to be there and where to park and all those kind of things. So, really by early March, we're pretty much ready to go. We just wait to see what the number of participants are, so we can kind of adjust, how much of the supply that we need to take out there. So kind of all works pretty well.
Well, if you run the Flying Pig course and you're hungry at the end, it's your own fault, because there is so much food on there. As you said, more than 100 stations in between fun stations and fluid stations and your stations. How much stuff do you give out?
Well, actually, when you talk about it, it's a lot. We talked about the Huff and the Puffs. We probably use, about 28,000 facial tissues out there and we do the 5K, the 10K, the kids marathon, the pickup. So we do Saturday and the Sunday, the half marathon, the full marathon too. So you're talking, 2 days of events, but every race is big. So we use a lot of product. The licorice twist, about 7,000 of those. Paper towels, again, thank you for the bounty out there, but it's about 20,000 paper towels that we go through. And, they're lifesavers, really. And on a hot day in May, it's good to get a wet paper towel to cool you off. Mm-hmm. Cookies, my gosh, we probably use 10,000 cookies, from the Fig Newtons to the butter cookies to Girl Scout type cookies. So nobody should, lose weight out on the course because they didn't eat enough. But again, and it's some people love all that food. Others, they're passing it. They'll wait for the finish line to get all the goodies there too. So no offense taken, but we're out there for you.
And you are out there on the course. People may not recognize you when you're out there on the course, but you are out there on the course for the queen bee and the pig, making sure everybody is staffed and everybody has supplies. Do you ever hear anything from any of the runners? Do you ever get a thank you, or do you hear a chuckle when they see some of the names of the stops?
I think they do. I mean, my job is definitely, behind the scenes. I never see the start or the finish. I don't know who won, but I can see the middle of the pack people out there a lot. And yes, I personally don't get to see or hear a lot of the comments, but from the runners, but the volunteers do. And, and they hear a lot of thank yous and thank you for being here. And yeah, that they really appreciate what the runners say to them. They'll tell me a lot of times, like, I can't believe they all said thank you for, being here, and all I'm doing is holding a cookie. And I said, but that's, you're encouraging. The runners love the volunteers out there. So every comment gets heard and is appreciated by the volunteers. So yeah, it's like, I'm out there with my team of 3 other people, and, we're resupplying any, lack of cups, or, somebody ran out of vinyl gloves or something like that. So we were able to get out to the course without actually getting on the course. So luckily the pig is an urban race and we have a lot of streets. So I've been around Cincinnati my whole life, but some of the streets I never knew existed, but now I do. I can pretty much get anywhere by the back streets. So it's
you'll
kind
never
of
get lost.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, you'll never get lost. In your resume, you did not mention that you are a marathoner yourself, and you have run in some of the biggest marathons on this planet. This is the year, of course, of the virtual event. How have you stayed motivated? Do you sign up for virtual events? Do you kind of do your own thing? How have you been taking your running schedule through this virtual time of our lives?
Yeah, during when the COVID first started, I was actually signed up to run the Cherry Blossom 10 miler in DC. That was like in April. So I was, training for that. And of course that was canceled. And so I didn't do the virtual that. I just donated my entry fee to their cause. But since March, I've just kind of been doing what a lot of people have done, taking up running. So I didn't really stop my training for the Cherry Blossom. I just kept running. And last, I guess Labor Day weekend, when it was beautiful weather here in Cincinnati, I thought, maybe I'll just try the 3-way with extra cheese. And so that's what I did last 2 weekends ago. And my hats are off to the people who do the 3-way with extra cheese, because it really is not that easy. But anyway, that was what I did. And I really haven't signed up for any virtual races or anything like that. I just go out and run every day and add my walking in the afternoon. So I do try to stay in shape, I guess probably for lack of anything else to do. So, it's good to see how many people are out on the sidewalks all the time. So, I just encourage people to keep it up.
If nothing else comes of all of this that we have gone through in the spring and summer, we hope that will be it, that people will now get into the habit of running and walking and being outside, because it's really not only good for your mental health and physical health, and it's a great exercise to be out there too. So Mary Enzweiler, the next time you see Twist and Snout on the course, you know who is behind it. Mary, thanks so much for being with us on Pigs on the Run.
All right, thank you all.